Hey everybody, I know it's been a while since I've put a video out for reviews or anything. I have seen a bunch of movies, some old, some new, so I'm going to talk about the new films, the new 2022 films that I've seen that I haven't had a chance to review. It's going to be Lightyear, The Black Phone, Thor, Love and Thunder, Nope, and Inu-Oh. And we're going to start it off with Lightyear. Lightyear is directed by Angus McLean, and it's supposed to be the movie that Andy saw in Toy Story in 1995 that made him obsessed with Buzz Lightyear. What I have to say about this is that I like this film. Nothing really sticks to me, making me want to go back to watch it in a hurry. It's not the best Pixar film. It's definitely not the worst. It's not bad, I'd say. It's just good. It's a good, enjoyable film, but I do have some issues with it. That's not to say it's a bad movie, I just have some minor complaints about it. Let's talk about the good. The animation is great as always. Pixar always outdoes themselves with it, so it kind of feels pointless to say it, but I always have to because it's just so damn noticeably good. I thought the story was interesting. I wish the trailers didn't spoil what was going to happen in the film, but I liked where the story went. The action was really cool. I liked a lot of the action scenes. I thought they were fun. I thought they felt tense at points. And I like how they use the Buzz Lightyear suit and other suits that show up in the film. And I'm not going to say what they are. Well, I guess I could say Zurg. You see Zurg in the film. I think what they do with his suit in terms of fighting is really cool. But there's a twist involving Zurg. And a lot of people have said they saw it coming a mile away. I didn't, because how the hell could you see that? I think those people are just bullshitting it. I don't know, but the twist was fine. It wasn't mind-blowing or anything. I just thought it was a little underwhelming, but it does kind of mess with the stupid Toy Story canology that people are complaining about involving Buzz Lightyear in a specific line he says, but I honestly don't care. I just wanted to watch a good movie. I thought the music, although not memorable, fit certain scenes and amplified their tone a little bit more specifically in a montage in the beginning, as well as some certain action scenes that happened later on in the film. Easily my favorite part of the film, and I think this goes for a lot of people, is the character Socks. He's a robot cat that Buzz has throughout the film, and I thought he was hysterical. He stole plenty of scenes. He was the great comic relief character that I felt should have been the only comic relief character, because there were side characters that I really did not enjoy, and I can't remember their names aside from Izzy, the main side character. But overall, I did enjoy this movie. I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm not complaining about it on Twitter like a lot of people are, how they're saying Disney's trying to groom the kids with a lesbian kiss scene that's barely there for a second, and it's in the background. Like, who cares? You know, it's just a stupid movie. Again, overall, good movie, but I'm not yearning to go back to watch it. I'm going to give it a B-. Now we have The Black Phone, directed by Scott Derrickson. This is the first Scott Derrickson film outside of Doctor Strange that I have seen. I know he's done a lot of horror before, but I thought this film was good. I'm not into it as much as I was after I first watched it, but I do think it was a good watch and it was something enjoyable. The film was about a boy who gets kidnapped and he has to find a way to get out of a basement, and his sister who can see visions of these kids who have been kidnapped before, and she can see specific things happening in her dreams. My complaints are minor. They're not really big, but I do have complaints about this film. More specifically, the first act is really slow. Although it does need to be set up, I felt that it was just a little too slow. And the more I think about it and the more people talk about it, dialogue exchange between certain characters in the first act seem a little weak. And it's not that that's not how kids talk. It's just that certain lines really don't feel like they need to be there. But once the kid gets kidnapped and he's in that basement trying to figure out how to get out, I think that's when the film gets good, significantly better. And there's more to do. That's the meat of the film. And with that comes the sister character who can see things in her dreams, and she has all of these visions. Although I thought that the kid actors did a good job, more specifically Finney when he was in the basement, and the sister did a really good job throughout the entire film. I thought that her character was kind of pointless because her visions really lead to nothing. Except this stupid twist at the end where nothing really matters at that point. Speaking of a stupid twist, there is a brother character of the kidnapper guy. I thought that that was kind of stupid. It led to nowhere. It was just a dumb twist that really didn't add anything to the film. It just annoyed me. I didn't find the film scary at all. I thought there were some creepy elements. I liked makeup that was done to a specific character to show that he was dead, and I thought the reveal was nice, but there are some pretty cheap jump scares, and I despise jump scares. I hate jump scares because it's just an image accompanied by a very loud noise. And in this instance, in the theater, the very loud noise was so loud that it actually startled me and made me jump out of my seat because it was so goddamn loud. Same thing happened to my friend who I saw it with. It wasn't scary, it was cheap. So, that's a big negative for me in this film, a horror film. My favorite parts of the film was the kid who was trapped in the basement trying to figure out how to get out and using the black film to talk to the kids who have been stuck there before to learn from their mistakes and to figure out how to get out, how to escape, how to beat the guy. I thought the concept was very interesting. It's just that the sister character didn't really add anything to the film because there's just a dumb twist involved at the end. Despite how good of a job she did portraying that character, and I really hope that these two kid actors have a lot going for them in the future. And I just thought the production of the film was really good too. The score had some pretty creepy elements to it at some points, although not memorable. The film looked very crisp and very sharp. It just looked really good. So everyone involved in the making of the film, hats off to you. You made a really good looking product and a really good sounding product, except in those jump scares. Screw those jump scares and screw the loud noise. But overall, I enjoyed the film. It's not sticking with me the more I think about it, but I did enjoy the film and I think it's a good watch. I'm going to give The Black Phone a B-. Now we're going to jump to Thor, Love and Thunder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read my review on Letterboxd, and I'll just add a couple more things if I feel like I need to add on afterwards. Thor Love and Thunder is directed by Taika Waititi, who helmed Thor Ragnarok. And I watched this film on the 30th of July, 2022, but I did my review for this after I reviewed Nope. So after watching Nope last night, I remembered that I forgot to do a review for Thor 4, which I watched on Monday, 25th of July, 2022. I don't think it's the atrocity that Twitter is making it out to be, but it's nothing special either. The action, which is some of my favorite aspects of these superhero films, was at the very least creative and enjoyable enough to keep me engaged. I like how Jane can throw Mjolnir into shards and have it returned to her. I thought that was creative and it was used very well. The opening fight scene where Thor takes on an army of alien chicken beings was cool and funny at points. Easily the weakest fight was on New Asgard when Gorr arrives. It's too dark and the monsters that appear were difficult to make out, despite me being able to see them, but the darkness kept them shrouded in a not clever use of lighting. It seems that lots of people like to complain about the tone of this and other MCU films, where they believe the comedy ruins serious moments. This film is a comedy, however, and it doesn't have more serious tone like Civil War or Infinity War. That and there aren't many serious moments for the comedy to interrupt, so it doesn't feel out of place. Still, there are quite a few jokes that don't land, but I found myself laughing quite a bit, whether it be from a joke or a chuckle that I got from a much smaller joke. The humor definitely fits with the more lighthearted tone most of the film has, and the soundtrack, rock songs, and more specifically Sweet Child of Mine from Guns N' Roses, amplifies the tone, which I wish the whole film was like, and it didn't have the more serious tone that Gorr introduced to the film, as he felt out of place with his really out of place wacky tone involving the more seriousness of his character. Gorr was cool to see at the very least. I liked the makeup on him, and Christian Bale looked to be having fun playing him in those more wacky scenes when he's talking to the children that he kidnaps. But my issues arise from his development. Yes, his daughter died and one god didn't care about him and the death of his daughter, which led to Gorr possessing a sword that corrupts him as he seeks revenge and vows to kill all gods. Just like that. I like the idea Gorr has, as the idea of the gods not caring for those who believe in them and only using the people is interesting. But it doesn't feel as impactful as it should, because the idea seemed too quickly set up despite me understanding Gorr's side. Also, despite the first scene with Gorr feeling like it lasted just a little too long. The pacing and the editing of the film is strange, and that mainly falls on the direction. I like Taika Waititi, but the direction and the non-action scenes feel unmotivated at points. Of course, the film looks crisp, but I believe more could have been done. More interesting looking shots in the non-action scenes, that is. That and some of the line delivery seems so unmotivated, using that word again, as it doesn't feel natural when talking about certain things, like making the first known presence of Gorr not seem intimidating. Back to the pacing and editing, all of a sudden, Gorr has slayed plenty of gods when Thor decides to find him, but we don't see it happening. We're just told that it happens. As dire as getting the children back seems to be, the characters never feel like they're in a rush. After a very quick setup, everything after feels to drag. But even the dragging seems quick as something new were to happen, and I would have liked those aspects to play a bigger role in the film, like being in the Shadow Realm, which is the most visually interesting the film gets. I really liked Jane as the mighty Thor. She didn't seem cringe like Twitter wants you to believe, as she's having fun finally being a superhero and wants to be good at it. I found her trying to come up with good lines humorous. The relationship between her and Thor in the film works very well, and you can see that the chemistry these two characters have works very well as well. The aspect of them rekindling their love and Jane using Mjolnir to stay healthy from her cancer carries the film when we're not focusing on Gore's mission to kill the gods, and the main characters getting the children back. I didn't go into a film titled Thor Love and Thunder expecting a masterpiece of filmmaking. I went in expecting to be entertained with lighthearted humor and fun action, and that's what I got. But it's nothing special either, like these movies definitely have the potential to be with their ginormous budgets. Also, to touch on another aspect, this isn't a bad movie because you could turn your brain off and have fun. This isn't a bad movie at all in my eyes. Just because you could turn your brain off when watching a movie doesn't mean it's bad, because there wasn't a set of commandments to live by when films were being made. I would have appreciated more being done though to make the film more tonally consistent like how Thor Ragnarok was. But this isn't the worst movie ever and the death of the MCU like Twitter is telling you. It's a perfectly enjoyable, dumb, entertaining movie with some pretty cool stuff, but definitely some pretty dumb stuff. I'll give Thor Love and Thunder a C. Now let's move on to Nope, directed by Jordan Peele. I'm going to yet again read my Letterboxd review and add more to say at the end if I feel like I need to. This is Jordan Peele's best film. This is a director who knows how to create suspenseful moments that brings you to the edge of your seat anticipating what will happen next. This is a very unique concept as it revolves around a brother and sister who try to capture proof of aliens amid some financial troubles involving their ranch and their business. What I thought the film was going to be about turned out to not be true, and I couldn't be more happy. This isn't a film that spoon feeds you the information and the themes, as it is shown but not explained fully, and it's up to the viewer to put the pieces together through visuals and small dialogue exchanges to understand what the film wants to say. Everything involving the filmmaking is spot on. This is a gorgeous looking film with excellent lighting and framing that explains exactly what it needs to convey to the audience and makes you feel exactly what the shot is intending and then some. Peele has always been excellent with framing and knowing what to show, even in his weakest film, to me, Us. The editing is subtle and not noticeable, as it allows the audience to see and understand what's in the frame and what will play a part in the scene or what emotion will be evoked. The only issue I have with the editing is the use of some title cards that seem a little out of place and too abrupt. The score is excellent as it invokes both fear and suspense and builds off of what is happening on screen. And at some points, it's pretty epic. It has some Western elements to it that really amplify specific shots. The sound design was creative, especially involving certain aspects of the UFO, but some involve spoiling the film, so I won't go too deep into it, except saying that the sounds were unique and felt very eerie. I never lost interest in the film, as it kept me engaged with great acting and a believable sibling bond, well-fit humor, and discovering new pieces of the plot. I would say that the pace felt just a tad too slow at points, but the build-up to the suspenseful moments are needed and important to the tone of the film, and the execution works well. Some slow moments may have had a few things that could have been shortened, and I only feel that way because I was so invested in the story and I was eager to see what was going to happen next. This is a very smart script, as the characters are well written and the sequences as they unfold bring in new light and the characters have to adapt to the new situations on hand. Peele works best when it's small events that have a lot of implication and genius behind it that shows that these characters are always thinking and aren't anything like generic cookie cutter characters in a generic horror film. I found the third act to be very exciting, as the final plan for the film was well thought out and never let up, as it is always moving along and it felt so natural. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised from this film. It was nothing like I was expecting it, and it restored my faith in the storytelling of Peele. The most subtle the film gets is with the theme of exploitation, as it took me a few moments after the film and with the help and discussion of my best friend who I saw this with to further examine what certain aspects of the film meant and how they all related to each other. There are plenty of moments and lines that help bring the theme to light without explaining what it means outright. Nothing is ever spoon-fed, which is a very good sign of a good script. Aside from a few slow moments and a few plot points that come into question as the film further unfolds, the reason for blackouts happening in the film, this is a great film that I urge you to check out. I'm giving this film an A-. And I think this was the perfect film to have to cap off the summer. I think Top Gun Maverick was the perfect film to start the summer, and I think this is the perfect film to end the summer. It's just a really enjoyable, crowd-pleasing film that a lot of people are talking about and a lot of people are enjoying, and I'm very happy for that. It's pretty successful in the box office and a lot of people are enjoying it. I think this is Peele's best film. This is my favorite Peele film, and I can't wait to see more of what he does. And now I'm going to end this off with Inu-Oh, an animated film that I saw on my birthday. It was the last film to be shown in theaters in my hometown. It is directed by Masaki Yuasa. And yet again, I'm going to be reading my Letterboxd review because I'm more descriptive in it than I would be able to say right now. But if there's more things to say afterwards, I will. I watched this today, my birthday, August 18, in a theater by myself. I wish there was more people around to watch it, but it was the last showing in my city. The film was about a young boy who becomes blind and another boy who's physically disfigured who come together to tell stories through music. There's way more to the plot, not just in subtext and a deeper meaning, but more plot points, which to me feel lost at times or takes a while to build up to me at least. I don't have a whole lot to say about this movie, but I really enjoyed it. The animation is visually stunning with certain sequences standing out with unique art styles and dazzling colors. The songs that are played were really cool to listen to, especially since they were centered around rock, and rock is kind of my favorite genre of music. I thought the story was unique and had a lot to say with its deeper meanings. It has a message that I feel a lot of artists and non-artists will be able to relate to, see, and appreciate. An issue I had with the film is the pacing. I wasn't sure what the film would be about other than two people coming together to make music, but I was excited to see something new. I mentioned earlier that there are plenty of other plot points in the film and the main aspect of the film isn't realized until about halfway through the film, but there is an interesting setup for me that seemed to be lost for quite a while, but it served its purpose. When I say that the pacing is an issue that I had, I would mainly be talking about the second half of the film, once we get into the meat of the film, where we finally see the more musical aspects the film has to offer. As cool as the songs were to listen to, and as visually interesting as it was to see, and as important to the film as it is, the second half of the film is really slow, as these songs last for a really long time and they seem to happen one after another after another. Overall, I really enjoyed this film. It was unique, it had a great message with a bittersweet ending, and had cool songs with great animation. I would highly recommend it despite my minor complaints though. I had a great time and I hope it gets some more recognition. I'm pretty sure I would like it more on rewatches as I would be more comfortable with the pacing of the film, but as of now I'm going to give this film a B. It was really enjoyable, the songs were really cool, but overall I really encourage people to check this film out if they haven't. It's just really enjoyable despite the minor complaints that I have with it. And I would like to see a Best Animated Feature nomination for it because it's just really good. Although I would take Turning Red over this film, I just hope this film gets a lot more recognition than it already has, because I do see a lot of people liking the film. It's just I'd like to see more people talk about it. So anyways, those are my reviews for these past 5 films that I've seen in theaters, the past 5 2022 films that I've seen that I haven't had a chance to talk about. So let me know what you thought about these films if you've seen them. I'll be back with more enjoyable content like this. I'll be back with more reviews, hopefully more skits later on down the line. But all right, that's it. So see ya. Bye.